Why do some of the U.S. citizens have negative views on immigrants?
Well, I was looking through some websites, and for example, this website called FAIR said that every American citizen should be asked our government why, in a time of increasing costs and shrinking resources, is spending such large amount of money on individuals who have no rights nor authorized to be in the U.S. I thought that comment or question or whatever that was such like a degrading, statement to immigrants. Like, it's such a hegemonic system, having dominant cultures and like maintaining a dominant position on immigrants and illegals, and that's so wrong. And it's a historical oppression on this population, and it's a challenge for equality that they face, that us immigrants are facing. So yeah.
First of all, love everything you said, but where did we get that from? Media, and that's kind of the thing, right? So it's a lot of soft power, but this is also stuff that's being repeated in the halls of Congress and in people with power. So it's seriously surrounded. A lot of U.S. citizens have this perspective. Why? Because it's, like you said, historical.
Okay, I'll just say.
Say it.
Okay, so you were talking about the media, right? This isn't related to education at all. I just wanted to bring it up. The whole COVID outbreak thing, when that started, everybody online, everybody's mom was just like, oh, they were kind of picking at people who come from, the Asian community. They were being xenophobic.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, okay, you gotta stay away from them because you're gonna give you COVID, and that was spread like wildfire through media. And it's just like, that's what that reminded me of. It's just like, why are you gonna, it was one person, or it was one person's mistake, not the whole group. You can't judge the whole community based on one person, and that's kind of what that reminded me of.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to say that that COVID, which is a disease, right? Something that happened because things got, viruses got mixed up from humans to whatever. Something that happened in nature is the fault of a group of people, right? That happened, and it got transmitted by everybody. Everyone caught it, everyone gave it.
Yes.
It's not one group of people's fault, but I do think that that's a thing that not just the media, but people who want to keep these structures of power do, right? They try to divide us by giving us stuff to fight each other with, right? So, trying to degrade Asian community with COVID, and so on.
How do immigrant communities contribute to the U.S.?
Immigrants contribute so much to America. They contribute through financially. Immigrants increase the supply and demand, and they increase the economy, which expands into employment opportunities and having more business opportunities for everybody else. And without their contribution to the public treasury, economy would it would suffer. And from my experience, my grandma, she has her own tamale business, and she's out there contributing to the society, and even putting out her culture, her as an immigrant from Guatemala. And you need to be around a lot of people who are diverse, because the more diverse, the more creativity, there's more inclusivity in everywhere. So, yeah.
Also, because when we're talking about immigrant contributions, someone who's negative is probably going to say, oh, but you know, they're over here, they're getting like free healthcare and this and that and whatever. But they pay taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah, the community pays taxes. The community takes the jobs that nobody wants. The community, to the point of getting exploited. Everyone is so happy to reap the fruits of immigrant labor and immigrant spending, but they want to also make it the boogeyman. And like, they can't be the problem and the solution. You know, it's crazy.
You said exactly what I was thinking about how, like another big argument I see is how these immigrants are taking our jobs.
Yeah.
Girl, they're taking the jobs that nobody wants to do. They're taking all the hard labor jobs. Like, there's this guy who is always outside by my home, like cleaning. I think he cleans this person's like literal whole lawn for them. He does it like on a lot of the houses on the block. He'll go to their home, and he'll like trim their bushes, whatever. And then like a couple houses down, they are building a literal new apartment complex, but they're all Hispanic workers. I didn't see a single person who was not Hispanic there when I was walking by on my way to work. And so it's just like, that argument just seems so like hollow.
Yeah, based on what you're saying, like this community makes a job when they can't find one. Like how you said that they were doing their laundry, they'll do anything to find an income. They need a live, you know what I mean? Based off what she said about, was it your aunt or your grandma?
Yeah, my grandma.
Yeah, she sells tamales, and then there's like,
And she's a janitor too.
see?
Every job is important.
Yeah, exactly. Like all these street vendors that we see that nobody respects, really.
And honestly, that actually goes back to like debunking this criminalization, right? That they come here to do crime. No, they're here to hustle, they're here to work, they're here to provide their families with more. They're here to contribute. And I honestly end up finding more patriotism to America and appreciation and love for here in the immigrant community than sometimes even within its own, you know, Eurocentric population.
What resources do immigrants lack?
So legal immigrants don't have easy access to welfare. It will take like for the first 5 years. It determines on the state and level and the funding with state taxes. So they don't get a lot at all. And immigrants, illegal immigrants, they don't have access to nothing except for emergency Medi-Cal or Medicaid. When it comes, So like when it comes to jobs, I'm gonna go to the jobs area, like the service jobs like we were talking about, the agriculture, constructions, food processing, restaurants and hotel. They're classified as immigrants. So they're contractors, they're temporary, or they're part-time workers. So they try to brush them off into that category. And they're in that category, reason why is because they don't offer benefits. They don't offer benefits in that area. For example, I was watching this film called The Harvest. It's a documentary, and they follow 3 children with their families, and they talk about how they're lacking resources. So their families are working in fields, and it is illegal to have like children working in the fields, and that's not okay. And the resources are not contributing to their family. and it's really, you know, difficult for them, and there's no alternative resources for them. And they have to sacrifice so much. They have to sacrifice their childhood, their stability, and their schooling. You know, and you know, the education system and even the healthcare system are like the big, you know, we need more help in that so much, because you know, the parents are working in you know, the environments of construction, and in children they need more like more for transition, more of seeing their culture in books and helping them with their language barriers. So yeah, there's a lot of resources lacking in there.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
That's really good. That kind of made me think about like my family. I feel like that when she was talking about how they lose education because they have to work, that exact thing is happening to a lot of my family members in Mexico. Specifically, I have a cousin named Baldo, we call him Baldito. His parents don't make enough money, like at all. So he isn't even in high school yet, he's in middle school. He dropped out, he already dropped out, and he's now working in the fields with them. He works, I think, 2 different jobs over there, and they are barely able to feed themselves, and like, I think his 2 other siblings that he has, and that reminded me of that. It's so crazy to me.
And those values come with them is the thing, right? Those values of like, we all have to come together, coalesce, and try to survive, comes with them. And that's what's, you know, that's what they're giving the American workforce. They're giving it their all, they're trying their hardest because they have their families that rely on them. Again, they're not criminals, they're not coming here to steal, they're here to work, they're here to provide, they're here to live, they're here to thrive, and they try their hardest to not take anything or do anything that could possibly, you know, send them back, because they are aware of the opportunities that are here. And because of that, unfortunately, they do end up being exploited, they do end up, you know, falling prey to different like evils in different institutions. And that's what we as educators have to be aware of, that these are people, you know, students that are probably very traumatized, very scared, very vulnerable, tired because they're working, or tired because or didn't have time to do things because they have a second job. But these are the realities of when you're, you know, an immigrant, and sometimes a, you know, undocumented immigrant in school. You know, you are sacrificing your childhood, you are sacrificing your education, and it's up to us as educators to help them, to give them as many opportunities, to be as open and giving them like the benefit of the doubt, and being that space for them to try to work, like, you know, get out of that system through academia, through education, through whatever kind of opportunities we can connect them with, programs, whatever it be.
Which is why it's important for educators to create relationships with them.
Yeah, absolutely. The relationships are so crucial to have, because if there's no confianza, right? If there's no true belief that you're there for them, we can't develop those relationships.
Right.